She stepped out of her car and stood before the man who believed she was dead. The same man who paid thousands to have her killed. His jaw dropped. He whispered, "Is it my eyes? Is it a ghost?" But she was no ghost. She was his wife, back from the dead and ready to expose the truth. Welcome back to the channel. Today we explore one of the most chilling and unbelievable true crime stories ever told. The case of Noella Rukundo, a Burundian-Australian woman who stunned mourners by walking into her own funeral. This isn't a work of fiction, it's a terrifying account of betrayal and survival, set in motion by the person Noella trusted the most, her own husband. Noella was born in Burundi, a country with complex history and a very rich cultural identity. She arrived in Melbourne, Australia in 2004 as a refugee, already a mother of 5, after her first husband had died. Her journey was motivated by hopes for stability and a better future for her children. She first connected with community support organizations shortly after arriving. She primarily worked with her social worker to learn English over time. She did not hold a formal steady job initially, focusing on raising her children and gradually integrating into the community under the guidance of resettlement services. Balenga Kalala. Balenga is or was from the Democratic Republic of Congo. At age 24, he witnessed one of the most gruesome robo attacks in his village that claimed the lives of his first wife and young son. He thereafter fled Congo and settled in Melbourne in 2004 as well. Fluent in English, Kalala often acted as an intermediary between new arrivals and social services. That familiarity is what introduced him to Noella. They got talking, and then they realized that they shared a lot of things in common. He swept her off her feet, and they decided to get married, and eventually had 3 children together. They met their families in the Melbourne suburb of Kings Park. Raising a blended family of 8, Kalala worked blue-collar jobs, first in a seafood processing plant, then as a forklift driver. Noella focused on raising their children, managing the home, and working informally within the community. By all outward appearances, they were a regular African immigrant family trying to build their lives. But under the surface, their relationship was frying. Kalala had a deeply controlling and jealous streak. He was suspicious of Noella, often accusing her of infidelity, even when she was doing nothing out of the ordinary. Friends and neighbors later described him as manipulative and paranoid, someone who struggled with insecurity and unresolved trauma. In later interviews, Noella revealed she knew Kalala had a violent past and streak, but she did not anticipate the depth of betrayal that followed. Kalala's long-standing jealousy and suspicion, particularly around false accusations of infidelity, ultimately became the trigger for the Murderforhire plot. Noella, for her part, had begun to feel suffocated. Still, she stayed for the children, for stability, for hope that things would improve. They had their ups and downs, like many couples, but she never expected what was coming next. In January 2015, Noella received devastating news. Her stepmother had died in Burundi. She decided to attend the funeral and flew back home. Kalala initially discouraged her from going, but she insisted it was important for her to say her goodbyes. While in Bujumbura, the capital of Burundi, she stayed in a hotel after the funeral. On the night of January the 17th, she received a phone call from Kalala. He told her to go outside the hotel for some fresh air, saying he wanted to speak to her privately. Trusting him, she went out. As soon as she stepped outside, she was ambushed, kidnapped at gunpoint by 2 men, blindfolded and shoved into a car. She was driven for hours into a remote area Her heart pounded. She thought she was going to be raped, killed, or both. After reaching their destination, the men tied her up and interrogated her. Then one of them said, "You are a very stupid woman. You are a fool. Why would someone want you dead and you still talk to him?" That's when the horror was revealed. Kalala, her husband, had paid them to kill her. But instead of doing it, the hitmen told her, they don't kill women and children. It was part of their moral code. They were professional killers. But this was too far for them. To prove everything, they did something unimaginable. They called Kalala on speakerphone while Noela sat tied to the chair. He didn't know they were letting her listen in. She heard him clearly instruct them to finish her. "Kill her. Do it quickly," Kalala said. Noela fainted. Instead of killing her, the hitmen held her for 2 days. During that time, they gave her all the evidence, audio recordings of Kalala's murder instructions, his phone number, logs, and messages, printed Western Union money transfer receipts, showing he had sent thousands of Australian dollars to fund the killing. They later released her near the Burundian-Australian embassy. Embassy staff and a local pastor helped her make plans. She didn't contact Kalala. She wanted to make sure he had no idea she was alive. Quietly, with the help from the Australian High Commission, she returned to Melbourne under the radar. Meanwhile, her husband thought she was dead. He was already grieving publicly, holding a funeral. But what he didn't know is that Noela was on her way back with evidence and a plan to make him pay. Meanwhile, back in Australia, Kalala went into full performance mode. He told everyone Noela had died in a tragic accident while visiting Burundi. He sobbed. He comforted mourners. He held a funeral service in their home, complete with printed programs, guests, music, and mourning rituals. People gathered to support the grieving husband and his children. Kalala even called Noela's children, the ones she had before they met, and consoled them over the loss of their mother. Then came the most cinematic twist in real-life history. On the evening of the funeral, guests were gathered. Kalala stood at the center, mourning, wiping his fake crocodile tears. And then, the door opened. Noela Rukundo walked in, alive, breathing, staring straight at him. "Is it a ghost?" he whispered. She answered, "Surprise! I'm still alive." Kalala immediately panicked. He backed away, tried to flee the house. But Noela had already alerted the police in advance. He was arrested within hours. When the case went to court, Kalala confessed to arranging the murder. Court had the audio recordings and saw the evidence from the hitmen and Western Union receipts. Kalala claimed he did it because he believed Noela was cheating on him. His twisted logic was that if I can't have her, no one else will. The judge called it a callous, premeditated crime and sentenced him to 9 years in prison. That was in 2016. He was eligible for parole around 2022. Noela Rukundo's story is not just one of survival. It's a classic case study in betrayal. A reminder that sometimes the most dangerous person is the one who sleeps beside you. The most powerful revenge is living to tell the tale. You've been watching Across the Dark. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and please stay safe, stay kind, and stay aware.